Do you have the entrepreneurial spirit? Usually, you have the entrepreneurial spirit before you can spell it, and it's a tough word to spell. In today's episode of Straight Talk, we're going to dig into what makes an entrepreneur think, what he or she does to succeed, and if a failure happens to occur, what will one do to overcome challenges? And of course, to do that, I welcome a frequent guest of mine, Dean Mercado, the CEO of Online Marketing Muscle. I know Dean is I don't know, Dean, could we call you a serial entrepreneur?
Yeah, somewhat, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done a few businesses here and there.
A few, yes.
All right. I love today's topic, Dean. We're going to get into, and you're going to outline what these are. The DNA of success, 5 key traits of entrepreneurial leaders. So I think we could probably figure out a couple of them, but you've got five, and I can't wait to
hmm
hear what they are.
Sure. Well, let's jump right in. So let me preface all of this by sharing the fact that at this point in my entrepreneurial journey, I've coached probably somewhere between 10 and 20,000 hours of working directly with and coaching some very smart entrepreneurs, right? And many of them in your industry. So I've seen a lot. I've learned a lot. I look at myself and I say, okay, well, one of the gifts I believe I have is the ability to see patterns. So when I'm working with entrepreneurs, I see patterns. I see those commonalities of why some are succeeding and why some are not. Which characteristics or traits, common traits, make it a little easier for some than others, right? So here's our five. With that being said, the first and biggest one is that particular entrepreneur needs to be a visionary who thinks big, a visionary who thinks big. And we all probably can, if I asked you, name a visionary that, all of us might have somebody that comes to mind. For many, it's people like Steve Jobs, right? There was an example of a visionary who thought enormously big, right? And helped birth basically a whole industry in itself, right? So that visionary who thinks big, I'll often tell the CEO of the company when they say when they're unsure of what they're supposed to be doing, being a visionary and creating that vision for your business is your number one priority as a CEO of a business, as an entrepreneur. You've got to point the direction so that everybody who's working with you and around you knows exactly where they're going and why. When they can see the vision, it makes life and business a heck of a lot easier. So that visionary who thinks big is my number one. Number two, I would say this one has to do with once they know where they're going and they're pointing there, they take massive focused action towards getting there. They don't tend to play around in the weeds a lot. They go after what they want to go after, and they go after it in a big way. They get the plans down. They're not afraid to do proper planning. They go right after it. So if we look at concepts that you've probably heard of, like the 80-20 rule, they go after the 20% that's getting them 80% of their result. And they're hard pressed focused on that all the time. Everything else is a nice to have, right? So when we look at the need to have items, they're massive. They go right after it. They're on top of it. And they're making sure that everybody with them and around them is going after the correct things as well. So taking that focused, massive action is huge. Is a huge characteristic trait. Now, third one, leverage. They know how to get leverage on their business and leverage on their people. Leverage is a concept that's near and dear to our methodology called Clone the Owner, where we get into different kinds of leverage that an entrepreneur or a CEO or an owner needs to use in their business. Two big such areas are areas like automation, right? And then delegation. These are two big ones. And we bring into that a decision framework that says everything that comes across your plate, you're doing one of three things. You're either, first thing you say is, do I really need to be doing this in the first place? Can I eliminate it? So eliminate is your first in that decision framework. The second one If I can't eliminate it, can I automate it? Right? Let's get the robots to do it for us, right? So to speak. And then the third is, can I delegate it? Now, here's the problem. If you can't land it in one of those three things, guess who gets stuck doing it? You. You get stuck doing it. So as that forward-thinking entrepreneur that you are, you ought to be looking at, how do I get this done? Right? Who can do this for me? Not how do I get it done? Great book by a man named Dan Sullivan, Master Coach Dan Sullivan, who wrote that book. Phenomenal, right? And that's what you should be thinking. Who can do this for me? So if I can't eliminate it, can I automate? Can I delegate? So if I'm automating, I get my techie guy to do it for me. Let them automate it for me, right? If I can't, who on my team can do it? So that's a big, 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 big one. That concept of leverage. You need to be looking for that everywhere in your business. Now, fourth one. Some people say I'm afflicted with this one in a big way. Passion. Passion that oozes out of every pore that you have. You know, when you live, love, and breathe this stuff, and everybody around you can clearly tell that it emanates from you, and that you wholeheartedly believe with every part of your being that what you're doing is what you should be doing, and that it's right and it's just and it's exactly what should be happening right now. And everybody would be crazy not to buy it from you. When you truly feel that way, the passion is oozing from you in that way, your business is going to do pretty well, right? People pick up on that and they like it. It's an attractive trait that brings people toward you. It's an attractor, not a repellent, right? So that's a biggie. And the fifth and final is one that came out of my book, The Mind Stretch, back here. And it's one that I called palm tree tenacity. So they exude palm tree tenacity. You can bend them, but you can't break them. These kind of entrepreneurs, they're tough to the core, right? There is nothing you're going to throw at them that's going to take them down. They will fight through everything. They could take a punch and they can give a punch, whatever it takes to get it done. That palm tree tenacity, you can bend, but never break. So that's my fifth. So real quick, let's recap. We got the visionary who thinks big, right? We take focused, massive action. Number two. Number three, we master the concept of leverage. Number four, we have that infectious passion that everybody around us loves it and they want to be around us because of it. And the fifth, they exude that palm tree tenacity. Now, the question I have for everybody, is that you? And if it's not, what has to happen in order for it to be you? Question. So, Jeff, what do you think?
Oh man, I've got a few questions, Dean. So I love those five, and that last one is powerful.
It
Never
is.
give up.
That's right. Unstoppable is a
Unstoppable.
word we use all the time.
Okay.
Right?
So my first question, let me think. Um, this spirit, can you learn it? Can you train for it, or are you born with it?
That's a great question, actually. And that could be something we can argue and debate for days. Now, I'll often question people if they're in a business that they're not passionate about. Why? Why are you in that business? Find something that you can connect to, even if it's just you like the profitability that type of business brings to you. But for most of us, most entrepreneurs step into a business because it's something they like or they know how to do. They enjoy it. That's why they get involved in it in the first place. In the cleaning industry per se, many of the people who end up starting these cleaning companies were rock star cleaners in their own right. They love seeing a place sparkle. They love that feeling that they create in their client when their client lights up when they see that space and how beautiful it looks, right? So there's something about your business that drives you. Find it. So for some of us, we're naturally born passionate about whatever. Yes, no doubt. We have an edge in that aspect. But I do feel that whatever you're going to do, you should be emotionally attached to it. Because if you're not, your business is going to be it'll be so, and people pick up on your vibe. Why do you do what you do? And maybe that's just something you do a little brainstorm with yourself. Sit down and meditate on that one. Why am I doing this? What do I love about this business? Is it the people that I get to do this for? Is it the people I get to do this with? Is it the profitability of the company? Is it the type of service? Whatever it is, you got to find it. So is it nature or nurture? I think a
That's
big
my
part of it
question.
is going to be nurture. You've got to look for the things that drive you, right? So for me, it really doesn't matter what the business is. If I ultimately love service and I love being of service to people, it doesn't really matter what the service I'm providing is. If I really want to, if I love service because I love making my clients happy, I love changing their world in a sense, I love impacting them in that way, then really doesn't matter what the end product is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I attach to the service element of it for myself. And that part of it I love,
Okay.
you know?
All right. So another thought. Um, let's say you're at a trade show and you're talking to people all day. You're talking to owners and businessmen, people who have companies. What does it take for you to decide this person's an entrepreneur or this person's a businessman? That that factor that says one or the other to you, Dean.
Well, I mean, for most, those two terms are very synonymous.
Okay.
Now, there are some out there that would create a distinction between them. Entrepreneurs tend to approach things from the standpoint of they love building stuff. Sometimes a businessman approaches it from the standpoint of I just want to make money. Now
Yeah.
that's a very rude, crude distinction between the two. Uh, I don't know if I would distinguish between them in any way. I would say we're all in business to make profit, period. So whether you want to call yourself an entrepreneur or you want to call yourself a businessman, some people will define it by an entrepreneur, somebody who's built more than one thing, and runs multiple things at a time. And a businessman just does their thing and makes their money. I
So
don't know. I don't know. I don't know a straight answer to that one,
no,
Jeff.
that's
But
fine. But here's the
yeah,
thing, Dean. I had a conversation at a trade show with somebody, and a fun topic came up. What if you won the lottery? Would you walk away from your job, or what would you do? And the person says, I would take the money and probably buy franchises, like transfer assets
sure.
into a business, and it would be a transaction. To me, that's a businessman. An
Yeah, it can
entrepreneur
be,
to
but you
me
could
is
also
someone who might take that money and say, what can I make? What can I build?
cool.
Oh,
That's a good distinction. I mean,
yeah.
you could certainly run with that, no doubt.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, to me, I could also say that guy's an entrepreneur,
Okay.
because it could be any franchise. What's the franchise you want? It really doesn't matter to an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur looks at something and says, can I make money doing it?
Yeah,
But so does
true.
a businessman, right? So, I mean, it's a very, very fine and gray line between the two. So much so that I don't call myself either, or I call myself both. Yeah, I'm a businessman, but I'm also an entrepreneur.
Well, Dean, going to your five key traits, your descriptions of those were powerful.
Yeah. Oh, no
To
doubt.
me, to me, that's an entrepreneur. I think anyone can be a businessman if they just own something, but to really own it and do something with it, your five key traits were right on.
So great. So, and with that definition and that clarification, what I would suggest to everybody listening would be to follow these 5 traits and call yourself an entrepreneur. Because without these 5, that businessman in that type of a definition may or may not see success. If they're not emanating a vibe of passion and for what they're doing, everybody around them is going to pick up on it. They're going to have a harder time finding the talent, attracting talent to their team. They're going to have a hard time finding the better clients. Let's face it, everyone wants to be around the perceived winner. right? So if an entrepreneur is defined by these 5 traits, then yeah, you better be an entrepreneur because the businessman or the businesswoman out there, good luck,
Mm-hmm.
right? You may struggle a little bit.
Yeah. It's you mentioned this too in a way about failure. So an entrepreneur, from what you've described, and correct me if I'm wrong, is someone who's not going to fail. I mean, technically a business could go under or go away, but
Right.
then that entrepreneur is going to do something else. So he never really fails. He just moves on. Where a
Correct.
businessman could fail and then get a job. Like I'm
Yeah.
done.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Another great distinction. I like that one too.
Hmm.
Most certainly. In my neck of the woods, I'll say fail forward fast. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. We fail forward very quickly, and we don't let that dissuade us from continuing to move forward. Our feet are always moving forward, no matter what. So even if we get knocked on our rear end, we get right back up, and our feet are still moving in that direction. Even when we're knocked down, our brain is still moving forward. That's just the way a healthy entrepreneur thinks. They're unstoppable, right? The palm tree tenacity there.
It's in their DNA.
It is. There is no other option. Like at this point, I've worked in corporate America. At this point, Jeff, I'm unemployable. So if I was a businessman and I failed and that would stop me, that would be really unfortunate for me and my family because we wouldn't eat very well, and I do like to eat a little bit. So, so from that standpoint, as an entrepreneur, we fail forward very fast and we can course correct very quickly. We're very agile. We're very nimble, so there's not much that's going to stop us, and not if we can help it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I've loved this topic, Dean. Thank you for this. And for those watching, no matter if you're an entrepreneur or a businessman, be a success.
absolutely, I second that.